Welcome gamers to GAU Studios. I am Eric Rickety Beans Urbino.
And I'm Drew D3 Freyer.
And today in studio we are joined by Sanshee. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Steve Deal, aka Mr. Deal from Sanshee.com, and I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
I'm very glad to have you here. PAX season is coming up. Big festival.
Oh, yes, indeed. Now, we're all very excited. It's pretty chaotic. I'm glad I got to make it to the studio. We're in the process of getting everything packed and loaded. I've had my first run-in with a 24-foot U-Haul truck, and boy, oh boy. Yeah, it's basically like navigating a cruise ship, which I don't know what that's like, but I'm assuming it's somewhat like that, just on asphalt and scary as hell. So
now, what you'll be transporting that U-Haul is the range of amazing goods and merchandise that Sanshee provides.
No, I'm very happy to be a part of this community, and I really want to emphasize the fact that we kind of fell into this whole shindig somewhat by accident, and to be a part of it is really a great honor. Working with the companies that make the games that we know and love is it's great.
You guys have one of the biggest merchandise booths at PAX. It's huge.
Yeah, we've been expanding. I'm very happy to say that this year we added another couple hundred square feet. And that's why we're actually able to load in today. Wahoo!
Congrats.
Minor perks there, but it's the booth is huge. It is, and I'm glad that we can do it because since we're located at a central mass, it's a lot easier to transport all of our booth and the parts. And over the last couple of weeks, we've been pre-constructing it, hopefully to kind of expedite the whole building process.
Definitely.
Now, why don't you show us some of the merchandise you're going to be showing off at PAX today?
Oh, absolutely. Well, why don't we start with some of our plush lines?
Everyone loves plushies.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun making these things, and we're not trying to make just toys for kids or anything like that. This little guy is the Mabari, a warhound from Dragon Age, of course. It was one of the first plushies that we designed. The very first being good old George from Skullgirls. George, when we first got these, we got the sample, and Artie and I would put him in random positions around the house. So there'd be I'd walk into the kitchen, and he'd be sitting there with like a shot glass next to him, and because he doesn't sit up straight all the time, he'd look kind of passed out or hungover. And it was just kind of a game that we would have where we would just put sunglasses on him, like that makes any sense. But
so he's more than just a plushie. He's a prop for prop comedy.
Well, it's really awful prop comedy, which is what I excel at. If you can call it excelling at that, yeah. Next Carrot Top, here we go. Here we have the Beefalo plushie from Don't Starve. What's unique about this is that it is our first, it's actually our second Clay plushie. Clay, which they also made the game Eats Munchies. It's a lesser known game, but very fun in itself. This will be featured at PAX. It'll be our first time releasing these in any sort of capacity.
Now, just to clarify, can you eat this?
You know what? You could. I wouldn't recommend it, though.
All right, not recommended for eating viewers.
No.
So, though you eat them a lot in the game, maybe outside the game, have a little care.
As much as I like actual steak, I feel like the stuffing inside of there doesn't compare. A little bit of barbecue sauce goes a long way, though. So, and then last but not least of the plush line that we brought the Nug. This we almost made just because it was cute and fun to do so, but also from Dragon Age, and I'm happy to announce that we will be releasing a couple other Dragon Age plushies in the near future for the new Dragon Age release. So excited to be on the ground level, so to speak, with that. And we'll see how that pans out. But I'm really excited. We're in the process of prototyping a couple things, and pending permission from BioWare, we're going to start spoiling or releasing spoilers and whatever when we can.
Now, this is awesome because you have a lot of different IPs at your disposal right now. How does Sanshee go about choosing what they're going to dive into next? Do you have to estimate what's going to be popular in the future when it comes to this?
Oh, it's a terrifying process, actually. I'm glad you asked. So it all started, we made a bunch of fan stuff, and we tried to skirt the line as much as possible while still making it, copyright protected, not infringing on anything. And basically, we went out and we just kind of tried to contact these companies. And the way I kind of explain the whole process, it's kind of like I imagine being in the music industry where, you're knocking on the doors of all these record labels and hoping that some of them recognize you, which none of them do at first, because it's a bit of a catch-22. Well, who else do you work with? What other licenses, whatnot? And if your license count is 0, they're not really going to have a whole lot of interest. But that's why I say that we're actually really lucky, because we make stuff for games that we're fans of. And so it's not like we actively hunt down, say, an IP that is extremely popular in the community, but something that we don't really invest ourselves in or are very well involved with. We just kind of stick with things that we know. Artie, my business partner, and I are big fans of Dragon Age. I used to hang out at my friend's house late at night, and over many a whiskey, we'd play Dragon Age and just have kind of a good time killing time. And obviously, huge Bioshock fans. So
you can
there's
tell
other Bioshock fans. I mean, there are Bioshock products that we haven't featured yet on the show, but yeah, Bioshock Classic is one of the nearest and dearest to our hearts. Bioshock Infinite, we have nothing but good things to say. So
yeah, Eric and I are big fans of Bioshock Infinite.
Love Bioshock
Could you show us
Infinite.
some of your Infinite merchandise?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, let me
you brought
geek
this
out
out
for a
earlier.
little
all right, so
It looks amazing.
Why don't we start with we have a bird and a cage cameo. Obviously, Elizabeth, you have the choice of one or the other early in the game, and Elizabeth wears it. We kind of made this both as a collector's item and for the cosplay community because naturally, when the game came out, we knew right away that there were going to be hundreds of Elizabeth cosplayers, and what a perfect accessory. So in addition, we have a Silver Eagle coin. There's a front and back side. It comes in this neat little packaging. Kind of makes things a little easier to transport as well. Make sure that they don't get scuffed up. And we have a Lutece Heads or Tails coin. So those two things, actually, the coins, we knew that they'd be okay. They're decent collector's items, we figured, but people have been really loving them. So I'm really happy to see those moving out the door.
I'm sure the cosplayers love them too.
Oh yeah, I mean they're just it's great. We've had a couple fans of obviously the game and of our products. They'll take a picture and they have they sent us pictures of their Bioshock collection, which includes stuff from us and some limited edition stuff as well. But I'm just happy that I look at their collection and half of their shelf is stuff that we've made. And actually, for the record, not to toot my own horn, but beep beep, Ken Levine, such a brilliant man, awesome guy. Had the pleasure of meeting him. He himself was kind of a big fan of our merchandise, and he's always been supportive. And that's actually what really kept us motivated. The earlier stages of the company, as we were still growing and developing, we made a fan shirt for Bioshock. And as it turns out, he wears that shirt everywhere. And we know this because we saw that in his Wikipedia page. He was at E3 and he was doing a presentation and he was wearing the shirt that we gave him. And so we just thought it was awesome. And, oh yeah, and we just sent an email to one of the representatives at Irrational. We're like, hey, thank you so much. You guys have been so awesome, and they have been. And Ken Levine's great, and we just wanted to share our thanks. So they're like, oh yeah, no, Ken wears that shirt everywhere, and
we need to send him more.
Oh no, we
not just wearing the same shirt every
We
time.
had a few different things that anytime we send him like a sample of something, he will have it on his desk, and he just kind of pockets a sample. So it is definitely encouraging though, and it keeps us very motivated. And I think that's kind of the most important thing, and kind of being involved with the community from our side of things. We get to know the people behind these games, and I know that I have to say this. EA obviously kind of gets a bad rap sometimes, and they do their own thing, but they own a lot of IPs, and so they own BioWare, and they kind of have a laissez-faire policy where they let BioWare do their thing, and I think that really kind of is testament to the fact that there's a lot of good that comes from it. And the BioWare guys specifically have been so open and so welcoming, and we're actually going to be partying with a couple of them either tomorrow night or Friday night, and they have been just the coolest guys to hang out with.
So you mentioned BioWare. I know that you have lots of cool shirts for Mass Effect, primarily all the mercenary groups. You can buy a shirt for each mercenary group.
We started with the Blue Suns, which I'll be showing actually right now. This is the Blue Suns mercenary shirt. Features the front print, if I could speak, wrinkles, and also we have the shoulder tags as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Normally we also have a tag print there, but because PAX is so busy, we had to kind of cut back on a few things. But aside from that, you can also get the Talon mercenary shirt, the Eclipse mercenaries, the Blood Pack. Pre-PAX. The Blue Suns is the most popular. Probably a combination of the color and the Blue Suns are just, I think, the most prolific group. So, but yeah, I mean, we had a lot of fun making it.
You do a lot of like accessories with that too. Like you get cufflinks, I believe.
Oh,
and some
yeah,
pins.
yeah, actually. So we really kind of took the Paragon Renegade thing and ran with it. These are Paragon Renegade medallions. We basically wanted to make, because not everyone is going to wear a Mass Effect shirt necessarily.
Some of us are businessmen. We need a medallion.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like everyone has these lanyards and they have bags, and so they kind of want to pin stuff to them. So we made these Paragon Renegade medallions. You can choose your side or choose both. We also, if I can find them.
Which side do you
there we
choose?
go.
Are you the Paragon or are you the Renegade?
I did the obligatory Paragon thing, and then I switched to Renegade later, but it's hay. And these are Paragon Renegade cufflinks. Funny thing about these though,
For the classy gamer.
yeah, exactly. You know what? We never would have made them if it weren't for the fact that we made these Paragon Renegade ear studs. And of course, when we had them on the site, you have a nice zoom in shot, and they look nice and shiny. And they're going like, oh, cufflinks, that sounds great. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why do you, who wears cufflinks? Not that I think they look cool, but at the same time, I very seldom wear cufflinks. But we had so many people asking about making cufflinks that we made cufflinks. And funny thing about that, now that we have cufflinks, we put those on display and they're like, oh, these rings? So I mean,
now these rings.
Maybe coming soon to stores near you, Paragon Renegade rings. I don't know about that. But
People are very fickle, aren't they? The consumer base.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's all in fun. We have a lot of fun making it. And you know what? I actually have to whip this one other.
This
thing
is my
out here.
favorite.
The N7 scarf, I have to show this because this is actually a new item as well. Now, the N7 thing has kind of been done to death. We understand that, actually, but we did this by request from BioWare. They kind of wanted to continue with the N7 product line and make new things, but as I had said, it's kind of been exhausted. There's a lot of N7 shirts out there, but they wanted to see what we could do with it. So we went ahead and made an N7 scarf, and we did this. We were partially inspired by the fact that the PAX scarves sell so well. It's actually a really cool item, and they're super soft, and it's freezing cold here. So as of late, thankfully, it's not been that bad. But I was actually in Minnesota a couple days ago, and the day I landed, we got 8 inches of snow.
Wow.
So yeah, it didn't last more than like 24 hours. But
You had the scarf with you?
I didn't. I had them in my bag, so I mean,
You
I
need
was
a
like,
scarf as strong as the Normandy for that.
oh yeah, exactly, yeah.
I like that not only because it has the Mass Effect, but it's also subtly Mass Effect. It's a stylish scarf just to begin with, and then you slap on them.
I mean, well, I think that's the strength behind the N7 logo. It is a very stylish, it's a very aesthetically appealing logo, and so as a scarf, it works out. And I myself, I never wore a scarf until we actually had them, which is kind of funny because a lot of our products are developed and designed that way. Where we started making coasters, and we did that because we'd be playing Magic the Gathering at our kitchen and pounding various strong drinks of whatnots and unholy concoctions put together. And as we're doing this, we're thinking, where do we put our glasses? Because we don't want to ruin our cards, and we're idiots and didn't put them in sleeves. So we're like, let's make coasters. And thus, the coaster line was born. So, again, we thought the scarves were cool. We wanted scarves of our own, and now we do.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite of your accessory lines has got to be the Vigor pins that you've made for Bioshock.
Oh, yeah.
So could you show our viewers those? They're actually here. Let me hand them to you.
Okay,
They're just so beautiful.
So we, believe it or not, the biggest pain about these pins
Comes in a Fink box.
is the box.
really
The box
cool.
itself was a nightmare. There was, the pins themselves are ready for release probably 2 months before the box, but you can see there that we selected 8 different Vigors. Basically the most popular ones. Comes in this awesome box. We wanted to kind of make it a cigar box style. When they're purchased, there's actually a Sanshee seal sticker, which follows the style of the box though, so as not to be invasive or intrusive. We try to keep any branding that we do subtle, and the sticker itself won't ruin the box. So, but yeah, despite it being a nightmare to produce these things, we had a lot of fun, and I'm really happy with the way that it came out.
Yeah, they look beautiful. I could totally see something like that coming in like a collector's edition of a box or something. Is that something you're looking to get into?
Well, okay, so it's funny that you mentioned the collector's items. We're actually in the process of making, not for Bioshock Infinite as of currently, but Bioshock Classic. We do have a special collector's item that's going to be coming out. Can't talk too much about it. It's going to be it's going to be a high ticket item, but basically we were inspired by there was an Undertow Vigor bottle that was released for Bioshock Infinite, very limited edition, but we had to get it. And we wanted a product of our own because we've never really gone into these extremely limited markets, and we wanted to really pour a lot of effort in these things. I mean, we put a lot of work into a lot of things, but shirts, you put a design on a shirt. This is a very unique medium to work with. So the product, when it comes out, there'll probably be only 250 to 300 units produced. Be very limited, but we're really excited about seeing this come out, which, if all goes well, it'll be in the next few months, but it never does. So, I mean, it'll be probably the next 6 months or so at the very earliest.
Wow, that's a really exciting prospect. Get your wallets ready, people.
Yeah.
It sounds like a very limited time.
Yeah.
And I think the final item we have to show here is a Lutece bag.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
The
Lutece
pins
bag.
would look great in that, I think.
On it.
See you later, guys. You're going down there. All right. And so we do
You can carry around the rest of your merchandise at PAX with your
And
bag.
a Lutece bag, yeah. This is another one of those items that it was more like, we need to make bags. There are a lot of people that ask us for bags, aside from just the normal like plastic bag that you get with your purchase. And we really kind of like this style of bag, and we figured it's a subtle design.
It looks very tough and like military style.
Yeah, it's a good canvas bag.
Lasts
It
a
is
while.
very durable. It's got a billion pockets in there as well.
And it's very subtle. I love how subtle you are with your gaming designs. Anyone who looked at this would not know it was.
Oh, right. Unless you were
like
part
all
of the
about
kind of the
Bioshock.
fan base. And so that's, with some designs, it really goes either way. Some designs, people want to kind of share their fandom, and they want big, bright colors, big logos, in-your-face kind of designs. And we do that, but we also try to mix it up a little bit and have more subtle designs like the Lutece bag. And we also have a shirt that kind of goes with it as well. Roughly the same idea, just kind of like a beige colored shirt. It's a ringer tee, but with that design on it. And, I actually prefer designs like that a lot, but it's interesting, you have people that go way in one direction, people way in the other. I do a little bit of both.
Now, a lot of people are really excited to come to your booth at PAX. Eric and I
hope so.
included.
Yep.
What are the items that are going to go really quick? What are your top sellers that people should get there early if they want to get
gosh. Well, actually, I just featured a few of them. The Bird and Cage cameos, they do really, really well. Not just for the cosplay community, but they are excellent collector's items. The coins, they will most likely sell up at the end of the weekend. Now, granted, we've overstocked on all these things, but nonetheless, it's proven time and time again that we tend to, even when we try to overshoot it, people surprise us quite a bit. Oh, yeah. So the deluxe Vigor pins, which we have two different styles of Vigor pins. There's these ones. These are the deluxe ones. And we also have just standard buttons. The buttons, we have plenty of them in stock. The deluxe Vigor pins, we will most likely sell out of, though.
Okay. Wow, and what's your personal favorite item that you've produced this year?
This year, I would actually say the deluxe Vigor pins. It's so funny though.
Could you not? They're gorgeous.
Oh, I keep kind of referring to it and how much of a pain it was, but it's really interesting. Artie and I are kind of a yin and yang, so we work very well together. I've known him since I was like 10 years old. So. He's basically family, but what you don't see is the amount of hate and spite and the back and forth that went into developing the box as a designer, because I'm like, no, you gotta do this, and he's like, no, we don't need to do that. And so it gets really, really gritty, but at the same time, at the end of the day, after we've, just kind of had our little bouts and whatever, a good product's made, so.
That's how every great artistic partnership happens. I
this
understand.
dichotomous unity of love and hate, and through
very
that
strong wills.
Yeah,
combating.
exactly. Bang, product.
Woo! Well,
Now-
speaking about the PAX booth, where in PAX is this booth? What number are you?
You know what? That's a good question, and one of which I should know the answer to right away. It's huge. Already
able to
actually
see it from
handled all the
space,
booking.
so.
Oh yeah, no, we have like a giant like blue palace set up, and so it is a very large booth. I think it's 30 feet by 20 feet by 20 feet. So there's a pillar in the way, which is why we couldn't do a full rectangle. But
Darn it.
yeah, blast. But You know, it is a huge booth. I wish I even knew who we were next to, but as I said before, I already did the booking for that. But it'll be hard to miss. You know, we try to make ourselves as not in your face as possible, but visible for obvious reasons. You know, marketing and whatnot.
You guys have a lot of t-shirts, so there will be all of your merchandise on display. Can we find everything on your site at PAX?
Yes and no.
Okay.
You will be able to find everything on our site probably shortly after PAX, because there's a good, like I'd say about 7 or 8 products that we're just featuring starting PAX, and we still need to get them photographed. Well, some of them actually just came in today. Whoa. So yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we're really pumped with how they came out, but you know, we're anxious to see how well they do in the open market. I'm sure they'll do fine. We're really excited about them, but bottom line, they're not on the site yet, but they will be soon.
Cool. So if you want to get it early, get it at PAX then. That's what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yep. You know, we have these photo shoots. It takes us a couple weeks to get the photos processed and whatnot. We're actually going through a big site redesign as well. So with all these kind of irons in the fire, you know, it's hard to say which is going to get done first. Prioritizing these things is a really difficult task in of itself, but they will be coming out hopefully within the next month on the site. But yes, get them at PAX if you can. Yeah.
I think that's all the time we have today.
Yeah, I guess that wraps it up. Anything else you want to touch on?
Oh, you know, I actually I would really like to shout out to the fine folks at Skullgirls, Clay Entertainment, BioWare, and of course Irrational Games, which is no more. But you know, Ken Levine and the crew, that everyone in the community has been so incredibly helpful. And I have to say, I mentioned it before, I got to say it again, just kind of being involved in this process and being able to talk to the people that we talk to, it's an honor and a privilege, and I'm glad that we made it as far as we have, and hopefully we continue progressing as time goes on. So.
It sounds like you're living your dream.
Living something, yeah, but yeah, more of a dream than a nightmare, but a little bit of both, you know, yin and yang, like I said.
All right, well, thank you very much, Steve, for coming in.
Absolute pleasure.
Excellent. I love all your products.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to grab one of these beefaloes.
Thank you.
That's all we got. We are GAU Studios. You can check Sanshee out at Sanshee.com. They have all of their stuff. You can go buy all of their stuff at PAX East. As you heard, there's going to be some exclusive things that you can only get at PAX East before you can get it on their website. So make sure you not only follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, but you follow Sanshee on Facebook and Twitter and get all that good stuff. They always have new products coming out, and I'm always excited to see that.
And a lot coming out with PAX, as he's mentioned. So
oh yeah, yep.
Watch that site for updates if you're not going to be there. But everyone's going to be there.
All right, well, that's all we got today in studio. Game on.